What is an art car? We're going to begin a new lesson today learning about art cars. An art car is a car that someone made into art. There are very many different kinds of art cars. This one, you can see, is covered with lots of little objects, maybe things from a junk drawer attached to the outside of a car. And there is the artist, and you can see she's covered her outfit and her shoes with the same kind of objects. By adding a little bit of this and a little bit of that. If you look very carefully at this art car, you'll notice there is a theme. It's covered in flattened, empty toothpaste tubes. And if you look very carefully, you'll see that there are models of teeth on the bumper and on the back of the car. And a lot of imagination. Here's another example of an art car where they've actually changed the shape into the shape of a turtle. And a lot of creativity. This car has been made to look rusty on purpose. It's actually a newer car, and the artist made it look that way on purpose. And sometimes a few plastic fish. That was the car with fish and lobsters on it. As you notice, they animated it and made them sing and dance. And some stars and stripes. So this car, they have taken a van and turned it into a flag blowing in the wind. They've actually changed the shape of the car. That's another way to make an art car. And even, I've looked at this one several times, and I've noticed that the license plate on the front says glass quilt. It appears to be a mosaic, possibly made out of pieces of glass, or maybe it's just painted with different colors. And even some toys. This gentleman has covered his car with lots of toys. Imagine the toys you get in your Happy Meals or you might have in your junk drawer. He has covered it with toys. And also, if you look at this carefully, it has a theme. The title says Time Machine, and it is covered in different kinds of clocks. And maybe even some Pez. This car is covered in Pez dispensers. And some painted patterns. This is an example of a car that's just painted to look like an art car. And some portraits of famous musicians. This car actually belongs to friends of mine who live in Kentucky, and they travel to different art shows selling their art. And they love music from long ago, like Elvis Presley, as you can see his portraits on the door. And there are several other famous singers on there as well. There's all kinds of little hidden goodies on this one. And even a fancy ambulance. I also know the owner of this vehicle. He turned it into a magic show. So he would do magic shows out of the back of his ambulance and travel to art shows as well. Here's another example of an art car covered in soles of shoes. This one's painted with designs. A Lego car, a car covered in Legos. A camera van, it's covered in old cameras. This car is covered in aluminum foil like you might use in your kitchen, And if you notice, there is a dog head coming out of the hood, and it's also covered in foil. The next photos I took myself at a street art fair in Baltimore called Artscape that they have every summer, and they invite many owners of art cars to come and display their cars. You can walk around and look at them. So I took these photos myself. This car is covered in all kinds of things made out of glass. This man is from Texas that made this car. See all of the glass objects on the roof. The man to the left in the tie-dye shirt is the owner. Next to it was the phone car. So this car actually drives. It is called the phone car. The ant car, covered in big metal ants and leaves, grass. That was the back. And the banana car. Car with books all over it, library books. So imagine someone gives you a car and you get to turn it into any kind of art car you would like. What kind of art car would you create? We are going to create our own art cars. Here's an alligator car that I made, and I made this several different ways. I used marker for the background, and I cut the green paper, the teeth, the wheels, the eye. I cut those out of paper. So there will be paper available if you'd like to do some cutting and gluing for your art car. You may draw it all and color it with crayon or marker. I will let you decide. You can mix and match. A bowl of ice cream car. A fish car. Today, for your first class, you will create a practice drawing of your art car idea. Before I made this one, I did a sketch, figure out what I wanted to do. So I'd like you to use a piece of manila paper and do a sketch of your art car. Add color, think about those things. You also want to have a background. My bunny car is driving past some carrot trees. You will need to have a background. Maybe it's something that has to do with your art car. So today I want you to think about the design, the color, take your time, come up with something very fun.